Where do things stand with the Panthers heading into the first week of the preseason? We'll talk about it right here on Locked On Panthers.
You are Locked On Panthers, your daily Carolina Panthers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Panthers podcast, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, as always, Julian Council, talking Carolina Panthers with you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yes, of course, Friday, your team every day. That's our motto here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for watching the show right here on YouTube and listening wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Be sure to follow me, Julian Council, over on Twitter and Blue Sky at Julian Council, where the weekly Wednesday mailbag is back starting week one of the season. Until then, you can at me or DM me with any questions you have over on Twitter, or at me over on Blue Sky, also at Julian Council, with any questions you have throughout the preseason and the rest of training camp pertaining to your Carolina Panthers. Today's episode of Locked On Panthers is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Week one of the preseason is here on Wednesday. The Cleveland Browns and the Carolina Panthers will have 1 day of joint practice, the first chance to see what the Panthers' new look defense looks like against another opponent. Now, Cleveland has a quarterback competition going on. They have Joe Flacco, they have Kenny Pickett, they have Shedeur Sanders, they have Dylan Gabriel. I don't know what's going on there with the Browns and who they're going to start. They're probably not going to be great offensively, which still is a good thing for Carolina to see where they stack up defensively with the new additions. And if they can stop the Browns, that's a positive. If they can't, then still not time to panic, but a little concern, I'm sure, would overcome some of you. And then the offense with the receiving core, really excited to see them go up against what's going to be a pretty stout Browns defense this upcoming season. So Wednesday, cannot wait for that. Friday night, I will be there at Bank of America Stadium for that preseason opener against the Browns, where apparently the starters are going to play. So we'll check all that out on Friday, and that will be fun to talk about up until then. But on today's show, Alex Zeitlow, the Charlotte Observer, going to come on here and help me out. I have been in Iowa since Thursday, got back around midnight on Sunday night, so I've been out of the loop. Yes, I paid attention to Twitter and FanFest and read some articles to prepare for today's show, but it has not been me boots on the ground like it's been for the first about week and a half of camp. So need a little help from my friends, and Alex Zeitlow, the Charlotte Observer, nice enough to come on today's show and to catch you guys up on what happened on Friday this past weekend and some of the recent transactions, and looking ahead to this week with Cleveland coming to town. We'll have Alex Zeitlow, the Charlotte Observer, joining right now here on Locked On Panthers. All right, back here on Locked On Panthers, as promised, Alex Zeitlow, who is a friend of the show at this point in time, from the Charlotte Observer. Make sure to subscribe to your local paper. Check him out over on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Alex Zeitlow05. Alex, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm so good. We were just off air talking about the NASCAR race in Iowa. You had a fun time over there.
I did, and I will tell people this. I've been to Iowa once, and that was me driving from Kansas City to Omaha last year to go to the College World Series. Didn't see much in that part of the state. But this weekend in Des Moines, pretty nice city. Didn't see any traffic, downtown area, kind of nice. So if you guys are looking for probably a cheap flight, it's only about 2 hours, and a nice little vacation, maybe go to Des Moines. It was really nice weather, like 78 all weekend. I know it was decently cool here. I guess it rained this past weekend in Charlotte, but yeah, Des Moines, Iowa. I'll go back. Like, I would go back just on my own, just to go check out more of what they got going on.
You heard it here first. Julian's a bigger fan of Des Moines, Iowa than Charleston, South Carolina. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Did not say that, as I'm also wearing a Seabrook Island hat, so people know that I'm definitely down with the Low Country. But Alex, I brought you on today because, yeah, I've been in Iowa. I was there Thursday, got back Sunday night. Shout out to Hayek Motorsports for the chartered flight back. That was very nice. So I'm back here trying to catch up on what's going on, but also plenty of our people are trying to catch up on what's going on because they have not been able to be at practice. I'm sure plenty of my viewers and listeners are out there on Saturday night, which seemed like an awesome environment in Uptown at Bank of America Stadium for Fan Fest. But want to kind of just like have the conversations that we have on the sidelines during camp with you today on the show, and also like kind of catch myself up on what's going on and what I've missed. Let's kind of start here. Bryce Young, how are you feeling about that right now? Because there's only been, I guess I've been out for like 3 days of padded practice, and I thought the first padded practice the offense had was their best day. And I think he's been solid. There have been some interceptions, and I think that's really been like Shaw Smith-Wade really having a good camp that's led into that. How have you felt about Bryce through almost 2 weeks of training camp to this point?
I actually thought the second padded practice that Bryce had was his best of camp. I thought he's been really, really consistent, really. I understand that the interceptions number is going to be something that we all tweet out and we're the eyes and ears of the fans this year because fans aren't at training camp practice. So I understand why, when we write that Bryce Young got picked off, it's kind of like, he's not looking that sharp today. And those conclusions get jumped to, which is completely fair. But just generally speaking, holistically, I think he has been very consistent. That second padded practice, dude, when it was really competitive, it was really loud. It was the same practice where, JC Horn gets an interception, then punts the ball. And then, on the ensuing possessions, Bryce finds JT Sanders, and JT Sanders scores over JC Horn. And he spins the ball in front of the DBs, and the DBs pick it up and throw it back at him. Chuba Hubbard scores on a 3-yard touchdown rush and punts the ball. So all this competition's going on, and Bryce is at the center of it. He not only is he the one kind of stirring the drink, so to speak, but he's also talking back as well, and that personality showing. So he was magnificent that one day. He was truly unbelievable 5 final weeks of 2024 Bryce in that last practice. And when he's that it is actually mad interesting, and sorry, apologize for the tangent.
No, go ahead, man.
But Bryce is like doesn't he seem like kind of streaky to you? Like when he has something going, there is something special about him there. Like when he has this confidence and it's blooming, and he almost kind of knows what the defense is going to do. And just like every time he drops back, I feel this feeling of, there's going to be a completion here, or there's going to be something like really special that's going on. And then at the same time, when there's no momentum, there's a bit more inertia. I don't exactly know how to explain it. It's just like he seems to be able to put things together and put drives together really well, as opposed to like he's not a character who, there's absolutely nothing going on. This offense has been dormant all day, but one play can turn everything around. Like, and you can go back, there's vestiges of his rookie season where he's like that, where he had to put together 12, 15, 17 play drives to get points on the board. I'm not necessarily saying that he's more explosive, obviously, but there is this sort of like, if there's momentum going, there is some magic. And you could see that at FanFest. You could see that in the training camp practices. And then when the ball's finding the defense, the ball has been finding the defense. I think in his final practice, he had like 3 interceptions or something like that. Not to overreact to it, but you asked a very broad question, and I gave a very broad answer about how Bryce is doing. But it
sounds like it's up and down. Because like when I've been out there, like have I been like, I haven't like, look, and I try to tell people this, it's training camp right now. The purpose of training camp is to get ready for the season. And we don't really know what exactly Dave is telling him to do on some of those plays where he's getting picked off. And I think Dave also brought up last week, after one of those days where I think there was a couple, or at least a couple near misses by Shaw Smith-Wade, where it's like, we're still working on timing here. So can't get overreactions. And I know JJ Watt was on Twitter like a week ago saying training camp stats are the dumbest thing. You don't know what people are working on. Like, he's bringing up a valid point that we don't necessarily have the full understanding of what the exercise are trying to do and like what the play call is. And if they're telling him no matter what, just throw the ball there. Like if it gets picked off, whatever, like we're just trying to work on something, try to see something, maybe how the defense reacts, maybe how the receiver reacts and all of that. So yeah, like it's hard to sit here and to be super impressed at this point in time. Now, once we get to Wednesday and then a little bit on Friday night, then I think you can make more of an evaluation overall what Bryce looks like at this point in time in early August, as we still are a month away from the season beginning. But yeah, I think you're going to have the ups and downs. I don't know if we're quite there yet, or it's going to just be like completely like flat line, like he's going to be the same guy week in, week out. I just think that we're going to still kind of have like those peaks and valleys. Now, the hope is after the massive like valley that you saw at the beginning of last season and even really his rookie year, that there's far more of the peaks and lesser of the valleys and overall consistency going into the season, which I think they're going to get.
I think so too. When you also talk about these fewer troughs and higher crests, the offense around him has just gotten a lot better, particularly the weapons around him have just gotten a lot better. Hunter Renfrow is turning into like a real, or at least it's seeming like it's going to turn into a real benefit for someone who spent a complete year off. Bryce is trying to connect with Teteroa and McMillan a lot. You can tell that Teteroa is going to be a fixture of this offense this year. And he's going to do so in a variety of ways. He's not just going to be this like 50-50 ball merchant, if there are detractors of Teteroa, that's what they say. And he's absolutely not doing that. We can't really report everything that goes on, but he's really lining up all over the field. He's catching the ball in like deep in like this 15 to 20 yard range, as well as like right around the line of scrimmage. So he's going to be, and during FanFest, y'all saw like he was targeted, I think, on 2 straight third downs, and he caught one of them and he dropped another one. Like he's going to be the first option for Bryce, as far as we can tell. And Xavier looks really fast, and Adam is still consistent as ever. So like
they got depth, man.
Yeah, I think they truly do have depth. And then JT Sanders is having the free agent, or is having the training camp of his life so far. So like, I think with all these coming together, it should be more consistent.
Yeah. And that's kind of like I was talking to my guy, Joe Ovius of the OG, did Raleigh radio for a while. I was on his show last week, and I was saying like, it's kind of like a no excuses kind of season for Bryce. But then he was like, well, you look at some of the weapons, like obviously Adam Thielen, he's proven, but Adam's also probably in his last year, he's 35. And Hunter Renfrow looks like the old Hunter. But then there's like, okay, Xavier looks good, was solid last year, but still not quite there proven wise. We don't know what Jalen Coker's role is going to be this year, but certainly he was impressive for what he was able to do last year as undrafted free agent. And then Teteroa McMillan hasn't played a game in the NFL yet. So there is the promise of pretty good receivers, but I think that they're going to get enough good receiver play and then even tight end play as far as in the receiving game from JT Sanders, where I think they're going to be able to have a full evaluation of Bryce. And that's like mentioning the entirety of the offensive line coming back, which is obviously a huge step forward for this team heading into the year. Now, let's talk more about the receivers, because that is the most fascinating position group to me heading into camp. And even 2 weeks in, still feel the same way. And like, just very interesting to see how that's going to play out. Let's take a quick pause here on Locked On Panthers. Come back and talk more about that here with Alex Zeitlow in just a moment. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. And y'all, big golfer here, love the game. And one of my favorite golf memories was going out to Seattle to play at Chambers Bay, the home of the U.S. Open that one time when Jordan Spieth won. What a great track. It's still the background on my phone. Loved playing there on Twilight. At Twilight, golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. Of course, the grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's number 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. Code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. All right, Alex. So like I'm always crunching roster numbers, just trying to figure out how many they're going to keep at these certain positions. And like receiver right now, I still got him at 7. I still got Adam, I got Xavier Legette, Tyrell McMillan, Jalen Coker, David Moore, Hunter Renfrow, Jimmy Horn Jr. Now, Hunter Renfrow probably should put him up there as like the fourth guy if we're going to have kind of like the depth chart, the hierarchy of the receiving core. Like the top three, clearly going to be Thielen, it's going to be Legette, it's going to be McMillan. You got 2 first-round picks in the last 2 years. Politics of the NFL are going to have those guys in your top 3. Adam Thielen got a raise this offseason. He's the vet in that room. I don't think that he's not going to be a part of the top 3 starting off this year. We'll see how things play out throughout the rest of the season. But behind them, like as you mentioned, Hunter's been great this year, or training camp so far. I know he's been dealing with a hamstring the last couple of days, but he has looked like the old version of himself. And he was very candid with us last week, talking about all that he went through over the last couple of years to get to this point where he finally feels back to his old self. And then you also have a guy like Jalen Coker, who was really impressive last year, but all offseason long, I've questioned with the addition of Hunter. And if he is the old Hunter, like where does he fit in? So I'm still like at a loss as far as what they're going to do. Like I think Jimmy Horn Jr. is probably safe just as a returner. David Moore, whether he makes the initial 53 or not, he'll be signed later on because he's not subject to waivers. So he'll be on the roster at some point in time in some sort of capacity where it's on the active 53 or on the practice squad. He'll be around. Just the question I kind of have is like, well, like what the hell are you going to do with Jalen Coker? And like, how big a role is Hunter Renfrow going to play?
2 good questions. Firstly, I want to say that I'm with you that they're probably going to keep 7 on the initial 53. And I've said it, and I know that, and I bet you your listeners are like, well, Julian, that's a cop out, blah, 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 blah. Well, they have kept 7 on the initial 53 the last couple of years, which is important to note. Yes, I know last year they immediately got waiver wire guys and cut Amir Smith-Marset and then Jalen Coker, and then Jalen cleared waivers and came back on the practice squad. So I know that initial 53 isn't like set in stone if you keep 7 receivers,
Sure.
But I still think they do. If you do want to keep 6, and I think you alluded to this, David Moore is probably going to be the guy out because he is what we call a vested veteran, aka he's played at least 4 years in the NFL. And if a vested veteran is on the team come week 1, that means that their base salary is fully guaranteed according to the collective bargaining agreement. So like if the Panthers want to be savvy, they'll not have him on the team, the full roster for week 1, and then have him join later, which is just like, I don't know, just like a cost saving measure. But yeah, all that said, where do we, to your questions, how big of a role will Hunter Renfrow play and what to do with Jalen Coker? I think with Jalen Coker, he's just proven too good and too replete with potential to not have him on your active 53 and he'll be someone who gets limited opportunities, but can make a lot with limited opportunities. And of course, injuries happen, attrition happens. And Jalen has proven enough to where if you do cut him and he is subject to waivers,
he's gone. Yeah.
He's gone.
That happens.
So, that's the thing with Jalen. When it comes to Hunter, I think that he has had so much hype this training camp that teams are really interested in him. It does help that he wants to play for Carolina. He wants to still remain in the Carolinas, but like you're going to keep him as well. I don't know. I go back and forth on this, Julian, truly, because a lot of people say, oh, but he serves the exact same purpose as Adam Thielen. Well, no, I don't think that's fair. I think that's a bit reductive. And 2, like Adam Thielen has been Bryce Young's favorite target the past 2 years. What's the problem with having multiples of that? Oh, well, you only have so many snaps that you can put guys in the slot like that. Well, Hunter can play outside. It's not like you need to have like a certain speed level to be able to play the extra Y position or extra Z positions. Like that's not a thing. I think having Hunter and Adam on the field at the same time is very possible. I know I'm.
Well, let me put this out to you because you said that too, like about Hunter playing out wide. Like I pulled these from when I went on PFF. So back when he was fully healthy back in 2020 and 2021 with the Raiders, he played 200 plus snaps outside both of those years. And the majority of snaps were, of course, in the slot. And you look back at last year, Adam Thielen played 322 snaps in the slot, 107 out wide. So they're going to move these receivers, and coaching staffs always tell you, like, they're going to want to put guys in multiple positions. And like, that's again, the point of training camp, point of what they're doing right now is to see where they can fit guys in. And who's to say that they're not going to play more 4 receiver sets, maybe like more twin sets where you can have both Adam and Hunter in the slot within XL and T-Mac on the outside on both sides. So like, they can be creative with it. And I do believe I agree with you. It's kind of like reductive. Be like, oh, well, like he's the same guy. Like, no, these guys can have different value and different things they can do for the roster, which is very clear with Hunter, where like he can play special teams, he can play on the outside, can play a slot. Yes, primarily that's where you'd want him to line up, but he's more than just like a carbon copy of Adam Thielen, I suppose.
Yeah. And also, I know that we lump them together because of their ages. Hunter's 29, Adam's 34. I mean, like, if in terms of planning for the future, if you do want to have that argument of, you know, they're the same receiver, okay, we have a succession plan then. Yeah, I think that's fine too.
Yeah, and like, there's talks about trades and like who gets traded, and like, I guess Coker could be somebody that could make sense. But then, do you want to be short-sighted because, say, like, this is indeed Adam's last season, Adam's last season, then you're gonna have T-Mac, you're gonna have XL back next year. Obviously, it's probably your top 2 guys, but then you're gonna need someone to play that slot position, and like Hunter could do that. Joan Coker could do that. You could have those 4 guys next season, and there's not really any questions about, you know, the talent level of like your top 4 wide receivers if everything plays out the way that a lot of people hope and believe it could at least play out this upcoming season. So I don't want to be short-sighted as far as that move goes, but I mean, it's not as simple as, you know, yeah, we'll just keep all of them, because you got to have the right roles, and there's other spots on the roster that will need to be addressed. And then we'll see if they're going to try to pick anybody up on the waiver as far as that goes. So still to be determined as far as a lot of that goes. Taking a quick pause. Want to go over a little bit of the kicker competition. Then we got joint practice this week. Kind of get your thoughts on some of that here in just a moment on Locked On Panthers. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we got a controversy going on, kicker competition. Ryan Fitzgerald, Matthew Wright. We've mainly seen them on the skinny post over there on Cedar Street, but we did, at least you did, get the opportunity to check them out on Saturday night there in Uptown. And apparently, Ryan Fitzgerald blinked a couple of times.
He did. So just stats. Sorry, JJ Watt. Fitzgerald went 4 for 4 on extra points and 1 for 3 on field goal attempts. Both of his misses came from just under 50 yards away. I wrote 48 yards, and I believe that was correct, although they didn't have it on the monitor. And then his first miss went wide right. His second miss hit the left upright, so it like actually hit the upright. And that was when if he would have hit that field goal, it was like a game tying situation. As much as you can simulate pressure, like that was a pressurized moment.
And 46,000 people in the stands too. So, you know, a little bit of that crowd noise.
46,000 tickets distributed, probably closer to 40,000 actually in the stands. I hate to do that, Julian, but you know how it goes.
Wow.
You know how it goes, bro. I mean, it was raining. I mean,
I got you.
But yeah. Also, one quick clarifying thing. I wouldn't read too much into the idea that Ryan Fitzgerald, the undrafted rookie out of Florida State, was the only guy to kick today, as oh, he's clearly the front runner, and Matthew Wright just has kind of already lost the kicking competition. The Panthers approached FanFest essentially as, which is the live practice Saturday. They approached FanFest as just any other practice. So, and it was Ryan Fitzgerald's turn to kick.
That's so Wright kicked on Friday.
Yes, and so
how did he do on Friday?
He did well. He went 4 or 5 on the skinny
4
post.
or 5. Okay,
and
just my own notes.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. That was, I mean, and coincidentally, that was his best showing of training camp. So, this kicking competition is interesting. And you could, in one other point, you could tell that they kind of treated this like another practice in other ways. JC Horn was set to have a vet day, and so he just didn't play, which I'm sure some fans were kind of like concerned about, but that's just what it was. Derek Brown has been battling general soreness, and I think he also I can't exactly remember his reasoning for not practicing, but I think he was dressed in uniforms but didn't participate in drills. I wonder if that was also a vet day too. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
it sounds like that's what it was. And like also for people, JC has been like sitting out a decent amount. So like this is not anything new for anybody out there who's not aware.
Sure. And so anyway, but back to this kicking competition. I mean, if I had to say anything, I think it's Ryan Fitzgerald's job right now, just because he's young and he proved so good his senior year in Florida State, and he has done a decent job. I don't think it's we had JJ Jansen on our own pod over at the Charlotte Observer talk about this. And it's so much more than just the snapshot you get every practice. Like the coaches aren't just counting beans over there. It's how you mesh with the other specialists and Sam Martin and JJ Jansen. It's how they mesh with the whole special teams unit. Like Matthew Joyner has been in this league for a long time because of the relationships he's built and because he's like a reliable guy to call on and stuff like this. But he has been a journeyman. He hasn't stuck on one team for a long time. I just like gut feeling, spidey senses, I think this is Ryan Fitzgerald's job. And I know he didn't kick the ball great at Bank of America Stadium, but it was kind of slick on that turf. It was his first time in a live setting. He showed that he had a really long leg. Like those misses from 48 were not by virtue of like him not getting it there. He got it there very easily. He was just a little inaccurate. Julian, I don't know how you feel about it. You're out there with me. When
you look at because we're seeing it on the skinny post, and I've said to people on here, I don't think any of the kicks that they missed on the skinny post would have been misses on the actual normal upright. So like that's a positive. We also have no clue what the distances are because they don't even put it like in the end zone. They're putting it at like the 30-yard line. So
we sometimes don't even know if they make it or not sometimes.
Right.
The ref doesn't do the it's good or not. We have to eyeball it, that's story for another day. But
folks, it's been a struggle. We've had the same, at least the last 3 times I was out there, we had the same ref who's standing under the goalpost and for whatever reasons not signaling anything. Why on earth he would stand under the goalpost and not signal? I don't there's not shade under there, so I don't know what exactly he was doing, but that's a hashtag media problems, I suppose. I thought Fitzgerald was great last year. Florida State's offense was terrible. He was their offense with his kicks. And he's a younger guy. And I don't think this team's there yet. So they could at least make the risk of taking a rookie kicker. And it's not like it's a huge risk because the other guys you mentioned, a journeyman and Matthew Wright. So probably would make a lot of sense, but he's obviously got to earn it. And I would think that, in a way, it's like his job to lose. But we'll see. Dave said, I think a week ago that they're going to let this play out in the games. First game's is Friday night, and we'll see if they want to take it again to next Saturday in Houston. All that to be determined. Some injuries. So Nic Scourton, apparently he's dealing with a hamstring. DJ Johnson missed the last couple of practices with a hip injury. Not great for him because I know apparently Dave had been saying some positive things about DJ and how he was trending, but he's probably not in the best spot to be missing time just because of the guys that they have on the roster in that outside linebacker spot. But Nic Scourton, I don't know about for you, but for me, I don't feel like this guy's stood out at all.
I'm a little bit so if you're cold on him, I'm a bit more lukewarm or a bit warmer.
Sure.
He hasn't gotten the snaps that, I'm not even trying to say snaps. I'm trying to say sacks. He hasn't gotten the sacks that Princely Umenyelen has, but he has still impacted the game in certain ways. He's done a really good job setting the edge in the run game. I thought this defense has actually performed pretty well in 11s against the run, which is interesting. I know that all the splash plays that we write about are pass plays because that's what we can easily see. But I think the run defense has gotten a lot better, particularly with Trayvon Moehrig just like being everywhere on the field. But back to Nic Scourton, I've said this, I've shared this play a couple times, but there's just this one play where he was going against Brady Christensen that he just bull rushed Brady Christensen. And Brady is a really good like swing tackle. He can do pretty much everything. And he got after him. And the coverage was good downfield to the point where Andy Dalton had to like dump the ball off to Raheem Blackshear. And Nick was just on the strong side and had backed Brady up so far into Andy that Andy threw a bad pass to Raheem, and it ended up being like a 3-yard loss. And that's the kind of stuff that Nic Scourton can do that doesn't pop off. Like the horde of beat writers didn't all tweet that out at the same time. So I understand why people would be like, hey, I haven't really heard that much from Nic Scourton. But that sort of thing is what he's done. I'm not concerned about him at all from an impact standpoint. I'm also not really concerned truly about this injury. He looked fine. He was still out there. He was wearing like the like catapult tracking thing, the tracking device. Even
looks like a sports bra for the folks who are not aware.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it like that, but yeah, exactly. And so he was doing that thing. He was still like engaged and stuff and was still like laughing and jumping around. So I think he feels fine. They just want to be really cautious about it because like Dave talked about last year, rookies, just by virtue of playing faster and having a regular routine at the NFL level, like some minor strains pop up and they want to keep that under control. I'm personally like satisfied with Nic Scourton.
Okay. Hey, look, I'll say this: the sight lines suck out there, so it's very easy that for anyone to miss it. And like, I'm not really overly concerned about the sacks. Like, yes, Princely certainly he stood out more just early on, and with Nick, I don't feel like he's run that often with the ones, which is like kind of a lot of my primary focus, just kind of those rotations. But then even with the twos, like when I get out there on Tuesday, I'll make sure to focus even more on 11 if he is available. But yeah, like I hadn't really felt like he had stood out from at least what I was paying attention to. But that's why you're up here to give me your perspective as well, because there's only one of us. I mean, yeah, go.
Yeah, sorry, so not to interrupt, but I wanted to pose this question to you: has DJ Wonnum stood out?
No, but also like they've been kind of just monitoring his health in a way too. And like, again,
but he just told us that he's healthy and he's good. And let's be clear, I'm a big DJ Wonnum guy. Like the defense completely transformed once he came back last season. Like there was a renewed sense of urgency.
Well, it had more pass rush juice. Wouldn't say it transformed because it was still terrible.
I mean, there were 2 degrees of terribleness in my opinion, but okay.
They've had 6 straight games of giving up 200 plus rushing yards. So the defense sucked. With or without them, the defense was the worst it's ever been. So, but there was at least a like, oh yay, DJ Wonnum had a sack in Munich and had like 3 more after that. So no, I don't think he changed it any bit at all. It was just nice to see and nice to wonder what could have been had he been healthy. What could have been was more of the same because they couldn't stop the run. And he's not going to be a guy who's going to really help you in that category either. But it is good that he says he's healthy because I know he talked to you guys on Friday and that's heading in the right direction. I'll talk about some of this other stuff, I guess, on my show tomorrow, just looking at some of the moves that they made, like with Chris Barnes, a linebacker, coming over and how that might have an impact as far as roster numbers. We just want to get you out on this. Just, joint practice on Wednesday with the Browns, preseason game on Friday. Dave did tell you guys, because I wasn't there, on Friday that Bryce and the starters will play in the first 2 preseason games at least. We'll see what they do in a couple weeks against Pittsburgh. He plans to have them out there for a series or two. Your reaction to that, and kind of just like, what are you hoping to see this week, or at least what are you looking for this week on Wednesday and then on Friday night?
Well, we knew, I mean, like the Charlotte Observer reported, my colleague reported from the owners' meetings that the Panthers were going to play their starters in the preseason.
Oh, okay.
So,
I totally missed that.
No, dude, it's fine. It was while a lot of people were hibernating after the Panthers season. So, but yes, it did get brought up again on Friday, and it was like, and a lot of people got really jacked up about it. And, Dave expounded more about it with Kay Adams on her show and all these things. I've known about it for it's been known for a while. I'm happy about it. I was a pretty big detractor for not playing your starters, particularly with a first-year head coach, first-year play caller last year. And now they're going to do that and knock some of this tackling rust off, figure out how to finish plays, like all these things. I think it's going to be really important.
I think it's important for the quarterback too, because I did see Joe Burrow on with Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network when I was flying to Iowa on Thursday. I was watching on the plane, and Joe is saying that he felt like for him, way more important than any of the other guys, because like the quarterback's not live during practice. Like, and I know that Bryce has been touched a couple of times. The quarterback's not live. So the way that you're being rushed, the way that you're stepping into the pocket, completely different, because the rush angles are taking are not going to be the ones that you see in games, because they obviously can't take you down. So for him to really understand like the speed of the game, get used to it again, he needs to play in the preseason. And I think we did see like week 1 and week 2 last year, the way that Bryce played, like it was pretty startling, because even in the joint practice with the Jets, where I thought he performed well, the Jets couldn't touch him. But so that's the one thing I found very interesting when Joe Burrow said that. I haven't checked out what Dave said to Kay Adams. I had thought maybe just because based off of how he did things last year, maybe they weren't going to play in the preseason, but also had no idea, because I completely missed Mike's report on all that. I look at it as a good thing only because at least it doesn't feel like a complete waste of time watching the preseason with a bunch of guys who aren't going to make the team. But it will actually be like something you can maybe take something out of. Not, and I know someone's gonna be mad at me for saying it's a complete waste of time, but like, guys, we know for the most part he's gonna be on the team anyways.
Yeah, I will say, no, that's really interesting insight from Joe Burrow. And I can't imagine it's not true. Bryce did have that one series against the Bills in that final preseason game, but like you said, like if you just have one scripted series that is intentional about getting the ball out of your hands quickly, and you're not even throwing to like the guys who are going to be your starters, like Jordan Matthews ended up being the one to catch Bryce Young's touchdown pass, and Jordan didn't even make the initial 53-man roster. So like this is more important, and it is massively important for Bryce. I would think. We still don't know how much he's going to play. We don't know how much the other starters are going to play. Like just off the top of my head, I think Bryce should play at least 3 series just to see what happens. And just so he can play a series, come back and like implement some changes if that needs to be necessary. And so the defense can kind of see him a couple times, and so he can make adjustments.
Yeah.
And the Browns defense is a good defense to do that against. So Friday will be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see Wednesday, because we know that we'll see plenty of the Brown starters versus the Panther starters. And then, excited to see like real live game action up there, Bank of America Stadium Friday night, what the Panthers offense, but also what the defense looks like. And that's not going to be a good Browns offense at all. They don't have a quarterback. They got 4 different guys that we're talking about, and I don't think any of them can play. I guess Flacco, I guess he can play, but like, what do you really like? What are we doing if you're starting Joe Flacco in 2025? Nothing, which is what the Browns will be doing this upcoming season. But I'm hoping to get Spencer German, the host of Locked On Browns, talk a little bit about that at some point this week for the folks out there to check out the show. But Alex, appreciate you as always, man. I'll see you out there on Tuesday, and we can continue to have these same conversations as we check out what this team's going to look like heading into 2025. Check them out again, Charlotte Observer, over on Twitter, X, whatever, Alex Zeitlow 05. Appreciate your time as always, man.
Julian, you know this. You're the man. Appreciate you.
Big thanks to my guy, Alex Zeitlow, the Charlotte Observer, for coming on the show. He does a great job covering the Panthers alongside Mike Kay, who comes on here fairly often, and, of course, the venerable sports columnist, Scott Fowler. So check out them, of course, over on the Twitter, the X, the Blue Sky, the whatever you want to go call it, and find it and do it. Doesn't matter to me. And subscribe to your local paper if you can afford it, of course. But appreciate him coming on the show. It's going to wrap up this edition of the Locked On Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by yours, Julie and Council. Again, at me or DM me over on Twitter or over on Blue Sky to get any questions in that you want. No mailbag as of right now, but I'm still answering your questions as far as training camp preseason goes there over on my socials. But in the meantime, be safe, be happy, be whole. As always, keep pounding. And I'll talk to you guys over on Tuesday.